change our guest, and we are actually off to the Swedes, where Swedish food tech company Petgood, which makes insect-based dog food, is coming to Australia. Founded in 2020 with a mission to reduce the environmental footprint of pet food, which, believe it or not, represents 25% of the world's meat consumption. Founder and CEO Pernilla joins us now via Skype. Pernilla, welcome to Australia and Startup Daily. This is kind of cool and a little bit crazy too. I mean, I watch my Labrador snapping at flies, so you know she has slightly an insect-based diet already. Lord knows what else she's picking up off the ground. But how did you come up to this idea of using insects? And just tell us about what sort of insects we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. So I actually have a Labrador myself, and that is how it all started. So when I got Siri, my Labrador, I started to think about what I actually serve Siri. I tried to think about what I eat myself. And that was when I found out that dogs and cats are responsible for 25% of the global meat consumption, which, as you say, is just crazy. And at the same time, I thought it was quite difficult to know exactly what the dog food that I served her included. So these were two very strong problems that we basically needed to solve. And now we have an amazing team, not at least our amazing lead vet, Nikki, who's based in Australia. And she is also the one who has developed the amazing recipes that we now have on the market in Europe, and that we're soon looking to launch in Australia as well.
Come about a Swedish entrepreneur and an Australian vet working together to create Petgood.
Yeah, it's so crazy. We actually have never met, which is just like the new normal, I would say, considering the pandemic. But we have one of the people who were part of launching Petgood knew Nikki from before, and that is how it started.
Well, it's a pretty exciting prospect. What progress have you made so far? Where is Petgood sitting as a business 2 years on?
Yes, we're so passionate about what we're doing, and that is also why we have been running really fast. So now we have over several thousand customers in Europe. We're shipping to all of Europe, but our focus market so far has been Sweden. But now we're really looking forward to also to launch in the Australian market and to also drive what we're calling our pet food revolution there, because we really believe that our dogs deserve the absolutely best dog food, while at the same time, of course, not impacting the environment. And that is what makes insects so fantastic. They're really a win-win, both for the planet and for the dog. It is what we're calling a high quality source of protein, which means that it's really good for the dogs, while at the same time it significantly reduces the environmental footprint.
Now, Pernilla, as we both know, Labradors will eat anything as long as it vaguely resembles food. What has the customer feedback been like? I'm thinking of the owners in this point rather than the pets themselves.
Yeah, no, the owners are really happy as well, and we have an excellent Trustpilot review, for example. And it's both driven by, for example, that the dogs really like the food, that the dogs are doing great. As I said, it is a high quality source of protein. So a lot of dogs have been free from, for example, allergies or stomach problems after switching to Petgood. And they also, of course, like our service. And I think it's also, they really like what they're serving their dogs. Here is, for example, our European kibbles. And I know exactly what's in them, and that's what also makes me comfortable. For example, I can eat this one now, just because it's things that I would eat myself. And I think that brings a lot of comfort to the other pet parents as well. So we have a lot of really passionate and happy customers.
I like the crunch in it as well. Now, one of the things that blew me away was that the global market is predicted to increase by about US $10 billion over the next decade. These are astonishing numbers. So how much of that potential are you hoping to grab?
Yeah, I mean, it's the insect-based market. I think it will be a boom. So we're obviously we are planning to lead that pet food revolution and really take that market. So we're hoping that a lot of pet parents will follow. And for me, like now knowing what is included in our recipe versus other recipes, I would never serve my dog anything else. So I hope and think that a lot of other pet parents will follow, and that pet good and insect-based pet food will be the will have the significant share of that market in a not too distant future.
Now, I understand that you did a raise in Sweden with, I think it was 19 million Swedish krona off the back of that. And you've got a bunch of green investors. What are those ambitions beyond Australia after that? This has got to be a global phenomenon for you.
Yeah, exactly. So we are at the moment we are focusing on Australia and Europe, but as you're saying, I mean, this is a global problem. So we absolutely have big plans going forward as well.
So I understand that you're working with a Western Australian-based insect producer called Future Green Solutions. So is the product going to be manufactured here in Australia?
Yeah, thank you so much for raising that. Exactly. So since we have this strong sustainability focus, it's really important for us that we're working with local producers and suppliers. So the recipe is produced in Australia, and we are using a majority of Australian sourced ingredient as well. And for Europe, it is the same thing in Europe. So there we're using 99% of the ingredients from Europe. So yes, thank you very much for flagging that. It is produced in Australia using mostly Australian ingredients.
Now, I understand the black soldier flies are also playing quite an important role in Australia in resource recycling in terms of, being able to use food waste and all of those sorts of things. We've got a project here where we're based at Barangaroo that does that. So all the food scraps and other bits and pieces are fed to the larvae here. This seems to be a really extraordinary shift in the circular economy, I suppose, and just in terms of creating renewable proteins, there's an enormous opportunity. How far do you think we can take it? And given that you're already eating your product, will we be snacking on something similar down the track?
Yeah, I mean, considering that we have such a big problem today with regards to how we will feed everyone on the planet, we definitely need to think about new ways to feed both, of course, our pets, what we're focusing on, but also like people. So I definitely think that more and more people will start eating insects. Actually, today, I think it's 2 billion people around the world are already eating insects, just because it is a good source of protein. But I definitely think that more people will eat insects in the coming years as well, considering that it is, so good for you.
And just in terms of pet good, okay, started with dogs, but I'm thinking fish food. There's got to be some other options in the pet sector that you can also cater for with this.
Yeah, so we have our dog food range now, and we also in Sweden or in Europe, we also have, for example, sticks and treats and other small food products. Now we're soon also launching our cat products, and that will be really exciting as well. Since the cats are, together with the dogs, responsible for such a huge share of the meat consumption. So cats and dogs, I would say, will be our main focus for at least the coming years. But who knows? Maybe we have a lot of fish calling us.
And while I've got you, I do want to ask, tell us a little bit about the Swedish tech and startup ecosystem. What's it like?
Well, I think it's pretty amazing actually. It's a very a small country, as you know, a small city. So people are very friendly. People are trying to support each other, and I think that is also we have had obviously a lot of success stories. Skype, as we're using now, Klarna and other companies. So a lot of people are inspiring, they're inspiring each other and helping and supporting each other, sharing lessons learned, and so it's a fantastic startup community to be in, I would say.
Well, fantastic. Pernilla Taxamäki, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Daily today. Look forward to taking a little bit out of the bowl from my dog when she finally gets to try the pet good. Thanks for your time. Yeah. There you go. That's when you really believe in your product, when you eat it live on television. Well, our